What do you think you're doing? Hey, you. What's up, guys? I'm Finn. Welcome to Treehouse Off-Road. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to tackle a project I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I've had the parts for quite some time, but after finishing the front Tundra 9-inch diff swap, I was absolutely burnt. I had nothing left in the tank, but I'm back. We're going to do a proper 3-link on this thing, 4-link if you count the panhard bar. Let me show you what I'm going to use. I got some DOM steel tube, got some 1 3/4 OD 1/8-inch wall for the upper link and panhard bar, and I got some 2-inch OD 1/4-inch wall for the lower links. Now for the joints, I already have 2 Johnny joints, so I'm gonna rebuild those with these rebuild kits. And then I got a bunch of threaded tube inserts, jam nuts, and misalignment spacers in this bag, and a big bag of beefcake heim joints. These are Barnes 4-wheel drive 2-piece heims. Now half of these are left-hand thread, half of them are right-hand thread. So at the end, I'll just be able to twist my links to lengthen or shorten them. To mount everything, I decided to go with some lower link brackets from Barnes and an upper link bracket also from Barnes. Bam, beautiful. And then I got the adjustable, so it's got 3 positions to fine tune your upper link. I've been doing a lot of research, and it's really easy to get bogged down in the science and the numbers of suspension geometry. So much to the point where, you know, it'll cause paralysis. It'll cause you to just not do the project at all. At least with me, it did. These links at the moment, I think are 28 inches long. I will double check that. So rough measurement from the bolt to the bolt. Okay, 27. I'd really like to go 48, but that's a long link. That thing will probably end up bending. What would be a more realistic? Be like 42. 42 right below this slider stringer. So that'll be a gain of about 17 inches. Yeah, 42 sounds cool. And then if we come under the truck, there's plenty to attach to there. I should be able to miss my exhaust. I'm gonna go with lower link of 42 inches, mainly because I don't want to overthink it. I just want to do it. And I think anything at this point is going to be better than the short links that I have now. With that being said, these links have served me extremely well for over 3 years. I'm running the Apoc Industries trailing arm set. The very first YouTube video I ever did was me modifying those arms. So I put Johnny joints on the lower arms and heim joints on the upper arms so that I could get a little bit more articulation. In fact, I contacted them and requested to be a brand ambassador. So if you guys want some of these Apoc arms, I'll leave the link in the description below. So what I'm doing now is I'm just getting these heims ready. I like to expose 1.5 inch threads, put the jam nut on, and then the tube insert. And that way, if I need to lengthen it by 1/4 inch or shorten it by 1/4 inch, I can still do that. And I still have 1 inch of threads left engaged, which I think is plenty. It's almost to the end there. If you guys didn't know, these little notches in the jam nut indicate a left-hand thread. Same thing with this channel on the tube insert. Right-hand thread has none of that stuff. These two are for the upper, left and a right. Both my Johnny joints are right-hand thread. So right-hand thread, left-hand thread, right-hand thread, left-hand thread. That's how that's gonna go. And that's why I have all these brand new tube inserts and jam nuts for the Johnny joints once I rebuild them. And of course we have our misalignment spacers, the 2 5/8 inch mounting width, which is gonna allow for plenty of side-to-side movement. Look at that. This will be a rougher ride, that's for sure. The smoothest ride obviously being the stock control arms because they have rubber that isolates. They have rubber at the frame side and the axle side. Now the only isolation I'm getting now is these small bits of polyurethane that are in the Johnny joints. I don't mind. I like the feel of the truck handling like a truck. I'm used to it by now. Now to find the length that my links need to be, I would measure from the center point here to where it meets the tube. And when I take that measurement, I get 3 3/8. So I would take 42 minus 3 3/8 minus 3 3/8, and that would be the length to cut my tube at, 34 1/4. All right, so we've beveled our edge pretty good. Now we're gonna grab one of our inserts. For the lower arm, since it's a 1/4 inch wall, we are gonna use the heavy wall insert, this guy. As you can see, there's just a lot more room to fill with weld than the smaller one. This will be for the upper and the panhard. And you got that nice big notch there. We'll try to do this one all in one pass. Almost got it. Good. And I'd say that penetrated. Look at all that discoloration. All right, so for the first lower link, I know my center to center length is 42. So I went to the nut and measured out to 42 right here. And then I took my lower link belt, set the center of that hole to 42 and marked that area. Blue is the end, the orange is the other end. So it kind of sucks that it's right where my slider ended up, and I did tie the slider into the bottom of the frame. So I'm gonna get to work getting rid of this and prepping to weld on this bad boy. Watch here. All this sand is just a side effect of living a quarter mile from the Pismo dunes for so many years. It's an absolute blast, but the sand gets everywhere. All right, it's all cleaned up. First, I'm gonna fill this gap in, and then I got my mark up here for the front. So I'm gonna tack it on. All right, she's on there. I'm gonna remove this link and put in my new link. Let's get this baby off here. This whole thing wants to unload. It's gonna be hard to keep it in the same spot. I'm gonna use a cargo strap. So we got some tension on it. Should be able to remove these bolts pretty easy. Lower link mount is absolutely roached. Not the case with this guy, 1/4 inch. So psyched. So there it is, the Apoc Industries control arm. I first did this in 2021. This one tack weld has held this Johnny joint from spinning off for probably 2 years now. Guys, if you're interested in the process of rebuilding one of these Johnny joints, I made a separate video detailing it, and I'll leave a link to it in the video description. Well, that's all that's in there, huh? Looks the same. All right, we're gonna put our first link together. We are gonna be using copper-based RECs on one side and some aluminum-based on the other, and then we'll see down the road which is easier to get apart. COPPERDRIVER. That'll be easy. So yeah, copper for driver. We're doing a passenger link. Okay, so we're gonna throw our jam nut on. This is the Johnny joint that I just rebuilt. All new internals, all fresh grease, new slop ring, new washers, new polyurethane bushing. So unnatural for me to thread something in reverse. Put our misalignment spacers in. Let's do the axle end first. While I was cutting off my frame side lower link mount, I cut through my cargo strap. Let's hope that holds up. Let's see how far we are. About 3/4 of an inch off, so I'll give this a few more ratchets. This is just a regular nut. Once everything is said and done, I'm going to use a Stover nut on our lower link, and it looks crazy long. Let's go outside the truck and look at it. That looks pretty fitting, actually. Alright, lower links are done, so it's time to do the upper link. I have decided to make my upper link the same length as my lower links. That means putting this upper link mount right at this X. Might even just go back as far as I can before I hit this cross member, so that way it'll be even a little bit longer on top. I will get the frame prepped, weld this on, and then measure for my link. Once I get this upper link removed and this round off, let's get going. Okay guys, the upper link is out. The next thing I want to do is take a measurement at the output of my transfer case, get the angle. Okay, we got 86 on my dot. So I want to match this to 86. And it's looking pretty good. Now it's time to start prepping the frame rail to mount the upper link bracket. Okay, so I'm about to weld on the upper link frame mount. Where that goes determines the length of the upper link. There's an online link calculator that some of you may have heard of. I did mess around with that a little bit, but ultimately it wanted information that I didn't have, and I'm on a time constraint here, so I'm basing the length of my upper link solely on an article I found on Barnes 4-wheel drive website. It said traditionally the rule of thumb has been upper links are 75% the length of lower links, but the newer school of thought is if you make them the same length as the lowers or even a slightly longer, your pinion will aim up when the axle is drooping down. Luckily, the Barnes 4-wheel drive frame bracket has 3 mounting hole choices, so that gives me options, I guess. But my upper link is going to be slightly longer than my lower link by I think about 1 inch or 2 inches. I've been running trails on these stock links for years, and I don't think it ever gave me an issue with the drive shaft angle or anything. I'd know about it, wouldn't I? So how can this be worse? It can only be better. So I'm going for it. All right, it's time to weld this upper link mount together, and I'll probably just hyperlapse it. All right, well, this guy cools down. I'm going to start cutting up my upper link. The smart thing to do would be to plate this. I'm plating this. I can't not do it. So I've decided that welding the bracket to the plate, which is 3/16, probably gonna be the easiest solution. All right, just got my upper link welded. There's the plug weld there. It's full of smoke at the moment. So I was able to use the ratchet strap and pull on the top of that link mount and get my rear pinion flange to 86, the exact same as the transfer case. I got my upper link welded and hooked up. My phone died, but you guys have seen me do all that. Everything I did on the upper, I've done on the lowers. Yeah, check it out. It's looking good. I'm gonna now release this and see if that stays at 86. I hope it does. Nice. right, so been driving around on the 3-link for about a week now. It's time to paint it. It handles great. It handles a lot better than it did. It's much less body roll and much less rear end wander. Do have one problem: cross member, upper link. It's about 1 inch apart, so it's definitely making contact, which is too bad, but that's okay. I am gonna carve some space out for this upper link. All right, time to make some templates. Today we are using Hot Wheels cereal box. Look what they want you to do. They want you to make a cardboard tower out of the box and then zoom some cardboard cars down it. Fun stuff. So you guys know the drill. Hold it up to it and press firmly. There's driver, and there's passenger. Let's get these welded in. There it is after a little bit of cleanup. It's about 1.5 inches up. All right, so here's where we're at with the 3-link. We got the driver's side link in, painted, all good. Now on the passenger side, frame mounts are painted. Both links are painted. The cutout has been working perfectly. As you can see, there's 0 signs of contact up there. It doesn't hit anymore over speed bumps or anything. The ratchet straps, they work incredible. I've used them to line up links, pan hard bars for years and years and years. I've never had an issue. I also have a strap going from the upper link mount back to the recovery point, so I can pull in either direction and get this thing fine-tuned. All right, so rear limit straps. At first I was gonna do them off the lower trailing arms, but the strap's just too long. So I'm gonna go bottom to just behind the rear shock billet, and then top this frame right here. If the tire clears this air chuck, I believe it'll clear this clevis. So I'll mark the spots, pry them out, and we'll weld it on. Right now it's hanging on the shocks. I'm gonna lower it down just till it touches and maybe there's like a 1/2 inch of compression. That way the limit straps are set to do their job. Okay, I put a zip tie on the top of the shaft. I'm gonna raise it back up to see if that indeed was a 1/2 inch or how I did on that. Yeah, that looks perfect. Okay, now I know when I set this limit strap up, there'll be at least a 1/2 inch of shock in there. They do stretch, as you guys probably know, so I will have to tighten them here and there, but I'll be good for a while. About like a 1/4 inch of shaft showing, but we want no shaft showing, so I'm gonna raise this till it takes some of that slack off the spring. Right, like that, close that gap. Then I'll put my other nut on. I have a 19mm here that I shaved down super skinny so I could grab this bottom nut and tighten the top for this exact application. Here it is. Dunsky. I think it looks great. Just gonna tighten that bottom bolt. And we are holding up an axle. Give the frame a little refresh too, a little black paint. Okay, so I'm at my favorite loading ramp. I need to get some decent pictures of this for you guys because the video inside my shop is so dark. You can see it works great. Top weight clears everything. Lower link's good. Limit strap is doing its job, so we don't destroy the shock. I could probably go 1/2 inch looser with the limit strap to get 11 inches of travel out of these shocks, but they only have 11 1/4, so I got it strapped at 10 1/2 back here. These things saw some hits last weekend, but they are tough, man. Tough, tough, tough.